What is up, Spa City? Welcome to the Specific Chiropractic Centers podcast, the Spa City podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Grant Dennis, featuring all of the community leaders and people doing big things for the community of Hot Springs. Look forward to seeing you guys on the inside. Hey guys, and welcome back to another rendition this week, the Spa City podcast, of course, featuring all of our community leaders and people doing huge things for our community here in the city of Hot Springs. And I don't know anybody better than those who represent us at the political level and in legislature and do everything for our community, honestly, that is so essential. Today, I couldn't be more honored. A lifelong friend. I have known this gentleman. I look at him as almost a father figure at this point in my life. Our state representative, Les Warren, District 84. Les, thanks for coming and being on the show today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. I'm just sort of like, wow, Grant Dennis, all grown up and businessman doing this, and great to see you.
Yeah, you know, it's when I start to think back on just the whole reason for doing this podcast was to really kind of feature the city that I love most, that I grew up in, that I grew up with your son throwing me the pigskin. I was telling Tony, before we came on, I said his son was my quarterback, threw me the pigskin when we were in high school, and I've grown up running around this guy's house, playing pranks, jokes, I said all kinds of stuff. So I said when it came down to talking about the things in our community that really matter, and I don't know anybody making a bigger impact than you at the moment. I mean, just with what you got going on with Arlington, the Majestic, and we're going to get to all of that, but really I think our viewers would really want to kind of know, for those who haven't met you personally, maybe your story of, I know you a little bit better, but for those who don't know, you grew up in Smackover. What's been kind of the, from a buckaroo to where you are now, what's been kind of just a 30,000 foot view of your journey so far?
Well, I still love my hometown of Smackover. As a matter of fact, I went home for homecoming. I will always love it. It's not somewhere that I feel like I could ever go back and live. I've been here 28 years. And so I went from Smackover to the University of Arkansas. And within a month, I went from, oh my gosh, what did I do? I'm a small town guy, I don't belong here, to I couldn't imagine being anywhere else. And it was like my network went from just a small town and a few people throughout Arkansas, high school stuff, to I had people all over campus. And that has become contacts all over this state in a business capacity. So I went into banking first, spent 18 years in banking. 10 of that was where I found my passion, was managing trust departments, taking care of more elderly people that got to a point they couldn't manage all their affairs, and making sure that things were invested, tax returns filed, bills paid, all that kind of stuff. And then after 18 years in banking, I had some business leaders that said, hey, you need to go head up Hot Springs Title Company. And I have been there 23 years as of this past September.
Wow, congrats. That's amazing.
I'm sort of like, wow, where did all the time go? But I have loved that. It really allowed me to become involved in the community. I got to be president of Rotary. I got to be chairman of the chamber. I got to serve 10 years on the Lakeside School Board. It just really launched me. And one of the things that you'll appreciate this, you know my wife Pam, and when we got married, she said, just promise me you'll never run for office. Anyway, so someone said, hey, you need to run for Lakeside School Board, and I said, hey, you told me never to run for office. She goes, that involves our kids. I'm good with that. So I did that for 10 years, and then all of a sudden, the next thing I know, John Vines is coming to me and goes, hey, I'm not running anymore. I know you've been interested. I said, I probably have to give up being married in order to do that. And so I went to her, and she goes, our sons are grown. You've always been cut out for this. It's time you do it. So I am in finishing up year 7 of being state representative for Hot Springs, Garland County, and I have loved every minute of it, getting to represent and help the people of this district. So
Yeah.
that's where I am. Proud father of 2 sons that grew up around you. I can't believe it's been this long since I got to watch y'all play football at Lakeside High School, but loved it. And now I have my first grandchild. Will's gave me my first grandchild after 4 generations. We have a girl. I'm learning what pink is. So, but having
fantastic.
a blast, and I can't imagine living anywhere but Hot Springs, Arkansas. This is an amazing community. People all across the state, while I'm in Little Rock serving in the legislature, they go, what have you got going in Hot Springs this weekend?
Yeah.
So I love telling about it.
Yeah.
People love coming here.
Yeah, it's amazing, and that's one of the things I think, one of my biggest inspirations of even doing this podcast was to help people sort of get the inside look into not taking for granted the city we live in, just with what's to offer with the lakes and the mountains and the hiking and the tourism and so much to offer. I know that one of the things that you've been really involved in, we were talking a little bit off air, was the restoration of some of our older buildings, some of our more historic buildings like the Arlington and the Majestic that really are really iconic places within the city. What's that kind of process been like? I know here recently I saw that for the longest there was the Vis Queen up there, and you're like, what's going on back in there? Now they've sort of pulled the shade back, if you will. What's that process been like? What's that kind of been like?
So I think there was a wake-up call in 2014 when the Majestic burned down. Since that time, we have had a major emphasis on bringing good businesses to downtown, but the Arlington had been allowed to deteriorate to a point that a lot of people thought, wow, I don't know if they can save it. In 2017, a guy out of San Antonio who had done a lot of restoration work on old hotels, a guy by the name of Al Rajabi, bought the Arlington from the Scott family and began a restoration. Shortly thereafter, COVID hit, and people are going, oh, nothing's happening. A lot was happening because a lot of things had to be done inside. Then he's gone to the outside. There was scaffolding all over the place, so people couldn't see the work. What he did was took the plaster completely off of the exterior of that building, about that thick. He would take it all the way down to the fire bricks of the Arlington. I mean, we're talking some old fire bricks.
Right.
They're coming up on 100 years old in that location.
Yeah.
But taking it down to the fire bricks and then a 7-layer process to make it where it is waterproof, new plaster with the color that you're seeing back to an original state for the Arlington. It is the whole front, all down Central and down Fountain Street. You're getting the look, all new windows. The front of the building is looking like it's going to look. The veranda tiles have been redone. The stairs have been redone. There's still work to be done. It's not finished, but my gosh, it's like a masterpiece. But what I had the people from Historic Tax Credits, Preserve Arkansas, Heritage Department come over, and they're like, Les, this is one of the best restorations we've ever seen.
Wow.
They said, this isn't a renovation, this is a restoration.
Yeah.
So a good friend of mine here, Vince Signorelli, and I have been getting groups to come through and actually see the detail of the restoration that's happening there. Next December, they will have a big New Year's Eve gala there celebrating 100 years.
Wow.
And hopefully at the end of next December, a lot of the work will be done, and it will be like a grand reopening of the restored Arlington Hotel. I've been making posts, others have been making posts, and it's like responses come in from everywhere. Oh, I had my rehearsal dinner there. I had my high school prom. I had my wedding reception. I love that place. We used to come every summer. It's just so neat to hear people talking about how much they love the Arlington.
Yeah.
And I think it's the cornerstone of our downtown. I think it is something that will attract people from all over this country once it's restored to be coming back. And, you were talking about everything in Hot Springs. Other cities in Arkansas would give anything to have a couple of things that we have here in Hot Springs. The national park, the lakes, the mountains, some great help from the Walton Foundation. We have the Blackwoods Trails.
Yep.
We've got Cedar Glades. We've got botanical gardens.
Garvin Gardens.
The
list goes, yeah.
And our bathhouse row has just come back. The downtown is just so much fun. If you go down there on a pretty weekend, it's just packed.
Right.
Neat restaurants, some rooftop stuff. Scott Hamby has been redoing 3 buildings. DeLuca's Pizza, the Pancake Shop, still the old touch. It's just so fun to be in our downtown. But Hot Springs is like and Oaklawn. Oaklawn cleared a whole block.
Right.
And made it the horse racing is still great. So it is like a mega destination all year round. So it is fun to be here. I'm just excited to see what's happening. I've been involved with the group. We're working on the Majestic site. There is a lot of energy going in there. I think you'll see some things happen at the Majestic site that will just enhance what's going on downtown and lead to other development downtown. I think Rex Nelson's a big supporter of Hot Springs and what we've got going. He says that our golden years are just coming.
I would agree.
And I think he is so on target. He's been a real encouragement to a lot of us. But I see an energy and an excitement in Hot Springs that I haven't seen in the 28 years I've been here. Your county and your city are working together. It's just everything seems aligned for us to just propel forward.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, and I think it's one of the. Having grown up here, it's hard to sometimes gauge. You having been here as long as you have, I think, give a new perspective on that, and obviously serving the people in this district. What would be one of, a lot of people say, I don't think that anybody in their lifetime ever goes, I think politics is where I want to end up. I think what ends up happening is at some place in your life, you kind of get led. At what point did you kind of decide, or what was, I don't want to say the inspiration, or maybe what was it for you that was like, I want to serve in this political role? Because that's what you're doing, is you're serving in an incredibly important role politically. What was it for you that made you want to go to Pam and say, hey, I know I said I was never going to do this, but I think that this is something I want to do? What was it was there an event? Was there a moment?
I think it was a culmination of a lot of things. In my high school years, I was like student body president, and I was always involved in things, going. Then I got to college and it became fun. Then after college, it was work. But when I got to Hot Springs, I started getting involved. Mm-hmm. And I owe a lot of that to Hot Springs Title Company, because they allowed me to do the things that time away, leadership roles, get involved with what the community needed. So I got to run organizations, be on school board, and see how things happened and get the experience. So it was like when the political position, state rep position came open, I'm like, you know what? I was on school board for 10 years, no pay, and if I can do that with
right.
zero pay,
right.
I think I could do this job at the state capitol. And I think the main reason I do it is because I love Hot Springs. I want this community to be something that is like the jewel of Arkansas, that brings people in beyond our state borders. And I want our education system to be a shining star. And I've watched our superintendents work together. Not what the state says do, but what they collectively do. It's just, we have a countywide pre-K program. We have a countywide alternative learning environment. Other schools in the state are like, you're doing what?
Right.
So it's like, we don't let boundaries get in our way of, we want to do this in Garland County. So I like that we want to be our own city. We want to be our own county. And we don't take no for an answer.
Right. I know that one of the things, that you've been really highly involved in is in a lot of the bills in the House. And I got to say, it's probably one of the cooler things, too, to walk into the Capitol as a representative of Garland County and Hot Springs. That's very cool. And I don't know anybody better to honestly assume that role, just having known you my whole life. I think, one of the things I know that has been important for you, just in my own research and keeping up with is taxes and looking at taxes on people in the city. I know you've been involved with a lot of bills that have aimed to kind of help the tax burden a little bit. Can you speak a little bit on, what you've kind of been working on there with that?
Sure. This is my 4th term in the House of Representatives. All 4 terms I've been able to serve on the Rev and Tax Committee. Mm-hmm. That has been great experience. I've also, all 4 terms, been able to serve on the Joint Committee on Retirement and Social Security. Last 3 I've gotten to chair the Retirement Committee. So I'm very protective of the state retirement plans. Mm-hmm. For people that are state employees.
My wife being one, so I appreciate that.
and I just met with the retired teachers this morning. They let me know exactly what they thought. But, and I appreciate those people, so I'm going to do everything I can to protect those plans. But, Arkansas is a balanced budget state. Mm-hmm. Which means we don't spend what we don't have. So we have to be very specific when we have a session. Every 2 years you have a general session, that's on the odd years, and then on the even years you have what's called a fiscal session. The general sessions run roughly 3 months, the fiscal sessions run about a month. In the general sessions, we make all the laws, and we come up with the budget that's basically for the 2 years cycle, and then on the 1 year, even years, we adjust the budget as we need to, but no new laws. So the Rev and Tax Committee looks at any laws that affect the taxes and the revenue coming into the state. For basically my whole time in the legislature, we have been trying to figure out ways to gradually do away with state income tax. We're not there yet. We've reduced it over the 7 years, but we can't just wipe it out because we have to have some of that money to pay the bills.
Right.
And so a couple of things that we've had happen that have allowed us to cut the taxes. My very first term was the internet sales tax. And I was I drew number 100 out of 100 in the House my first time. It was sort of funny. I'm like, okay, God, give me a real high number so I can get a good committee assignment. And I went 100. Down and I drew 100, and I go, okay, God, I get it. You want me to be humble and start at the bottom and work my way up. I got it. So anyway, I got on these committees, but I had to be the very first person to vote on the internet sales tax. And I went, yes, we need to establish an internet sales tax for Arkansas, because all these internet salespeople are selling the exact same products that a Loray's and Walmart's and other people in our community who are paying taxes on their sales,
Yeah.
and those who are selling it through the internet
Are not.
were not having to pay taxes.
It's just-
And I'm like, that's not fair.
Right.
We need these people who go to work every day at our businesses, the brick and mortar places that people walk by and go in, that make people go, oh, I love being in downtown Hot
Right.
Springs.
Right.
I love these businesses. I love these boutiques that they have for ladies to shop in. You know, if everything's just an internet sale, then those buildings will be empty. So I said yes. So we were able to generate some new sales tax money that we hadn't had. Then later in my time, we had medical marijuana that came along. We did a tax for that. So when you can replace the tax money that you've been charging to all citizens with something that is needed, then you can do away with some of the taxes that you've been charging.
Right.
So it's just great to have it as a source of new income, and you're able to reduce people's taxes.
So when it comes to the small businesses in Hot
Yes.
Springs, I know that it's no secret the lifeblood of Hot Springs is our small businesses. I think one of the things that's really interesting, that's always kind of culminated, or at least that I've always appreciated, is the local mom and pops here in Hot Springs.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the, even from anything from the DeLucas to the Rockies to the Capo's Tacos, and the list goes on, right? Of all of our
Absolutely.
amazing businesses. On a typical Friday, where's Pam and Les hanging out? Where's some of you guys' favorite local go-to spots that, obviously, being politically correct, you can't divulge, or be biased to any one of them. But what is this is our go-to one, spot we really like to go?
Oh gosh, we're all over the place. I love DeLucas. I love Squeeze Box. I mean, we still love to go to the movies, but I mean, I love to be downtown, just walk around. We love 501 Prime, love the Vault. I love now going into the Arlington, they redid the Waters. I mean, the rooftop at the Waters is so cool. I know a new business that's getting ready to do another rooftop venue. It's just fun to be downtown. One thing that a lot of the leaders in this community have put a lot of time into, that I still am determined we make something good out of, is the old Army-Navy hospital.
Yeah.
What a
That's a gym.
beautiful building.
Yeah, it's a gym.
But we got to find the right thing to use it for, and then start preserving it. There are buildings on that campus that just need to be leveled. They're beyond repair, whether it's asbestos, lead paint. I've been up and walked through some of the buildings are leaning. We need to clean it up. But that is a gorgeous building and gorgeous site in downtown Hot Springs that we need to make sure becomes something special.
Right.
And believe me, there are a lot of people in Hot Springs that are going to work to make that happen one day. It's a little bit in limbo right now because the state and the feds, the way the original deed was drawn up, if the state didn't use it for the hospital or educational purposes, it was supposed to revert back to the Army, and the federal government's like, no, we don't want to take it back. So it's sort of in limbo, and so we need someone with a really great idea to come and go, look, I'll take it off both your hands.
Right, right.
And so it's getting there, and I'm not going to give up on it.
Yeah.
Because if we can do something at the Majestic site, the Arlington Hotel coming back, and then we can do something at Army Navy Hospital, oh my gosh, downtown.
Yeah. Oh man.
I mean, just explodes.
Well, I know if anybody's going to be able to do it, it's going to be Les Warren who can. You're not going to give up on it. It's going to happen. I know that it's also really cool for me to also now see, Will also in the community as a dentist, serving people in the community. I think that's a rarity sometimes in that, and that now you have kids actually that you're representing as business people inside of the city. Has it helped kind of change your perspective or shift it, having a son at all that's in the business sector, or has that helped kind of change your view on things at all, or has it just kind of been just a different perspective?
I'd just say a different perspective. I mean, the main perspective is that I'm getting old, but it's so cool to have your kids come back. I mean, my other son, Colby, is down in Texas, New Braunfels, Texas.
Okay, I was going to ask.
And he has just made a change from a Christian athletic camp that he's been serving as a director with to going back to a company that he worked with right out of college. They called and wanted him back. So he's going back with them, but I'd love to have him back in Arkansas. It'd really be nice not to have to drive 8 hours to see him.
Yeah.
But I am Arkansan through and through. I started in Smackover. I live in Hot Springs. I can't see going anywhere else. This is going to be home for as long as I live, and have both sons at least in Arkansas, preferably Hot Springs. But it would just be amazing.
You said, an incredible, in case our viewers missed that, 4 terms. It's incredible. Can we expect a 5th out of Les Warren?
There is a letter going out next week letting people know that I'm running for a 5th term.
Fantastic.
I am not through serving the people of Hot Springs.
Love that.
If they'll elect me again, I'm going to be back over at the Capitol working to continue letting people know what a gem we have here and trying to get help. I was able to work to get historic tax credits for the Arlington this last time, and get money for the literacy councils of Arkansas, including Garland County.
We had Mary Metcalf on here, the Literacy Council.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so she talked a little bit about that, so that's very cool.
We have a lady here, Sarah Richardson, that heads up the Literacy Council of Garland County. She is amazing. She won the Rising Star Award for our chamber. We have an amazing Chamber of Commerce, by the way. Gary Troutman, others, Cole McCaskill, Gary Jackson, Vicky, that do an amazing job. We're one of 5 accredited chambers in the state, and that's a national accreditation.
Right.
So I just, give me an hour and I'll tell you all the good things about our Hot Springs. I couldn't be more positive on a community, and I couldn't think of a better community to live in.
Yeah. Well, I think we're gonna go ahead and end there, Les. I just super appreciate you spending some time with us today, shedding a little bit about your passion and serving in our community. And thank you for serving our community. I think some wouldn't look at that as an act of service. I certainly do. I know what all goes into that and entails with that, and what all you've been doing in the background. And appreciate you sharing a lot of that with us. And we're gonna definitely have to have a segment 2 on with Les Warren, I'm sure, before the season's over this year. Thanks for spending some time with us. Guys, that's going to wrap us up this week. We appreciate you tuning in this week. And until next time, remember, go out and experience everything Hot Springs has to offer in the community we live in. Be a tourist in your own hometown. We'll see you guys next week. Y'all have a great week.